Hey Run Junkies, one of the most important keys to endurance training is the long run. Now this is typically defined as the longest run you will do within a given week. There's no set distance that defines a long run. And for the most part, the long run sits at about 60 to 100% of the total mileage that you've already done during the week. They're pretty hard mentally as well as physically. They also require a bit of planning and preparation beforehand, as well as a lot of mental stamina. So today I'm going to walk you through executing that long run. So how do you know how long that long run should really be? Well, if you're following a training plan, that math is done for you. But if you're in between plans or you're just kind of making this up as you go, the rule of thumb I like to give is to total all of the mileage you've already done for the week, so your weekday runs. For example, with the run that I'm about to walk you through, I've already done about 16 miles already this week. My long run is programmed at 13 miles, so it's well within that safe range. But let me take you through the process of planning and preparing for a long run. In order to streamline your process of getting out the door, especially if you have to get out running early in the morning, I recommend laying everything out that you'll need for that long run the night before. Make sure your devices are charged, like your watch and your phone, and take a look at the weather to see what kind of clothes you're gonna need and be most comfortable in for the temperatures of the morning. You might take a little bit of time the night before to visualize your route as well. You wanna make sure that you know how far you're going, when you need to turn around, and what your landmarks are along the way. How much water and how much in the way of gels or nutrition do you need to bring? This is a personal formula, and the long runs are a really good time to practice what actually works for you. I like to bring one bottle and one gel plus one for every hour I plan on being out on my run. So I think I have everything set up for tomorrow morning. I have my shoes out, I have my clothes out in the bathroom. I also have one water bottle in the freezer, and the other two are all set to go in the fridge. I have all of my hydration set up. I have my sunscreen and my bug spray. I also have my earbuds right where they need to be. My phone is gonna charge before I go to bed, and my watch is all set to go. I think I'm ready. I'm going to bed. Night. Indy girl, up. Let's go. All right, so it's early. I'm working on my coffee, and I'm ready to get out the door for a 13 to 14 mile run. Whew, it's hard to do this super early. Before I head out, I'm gonna do some of my dynamic warm-ups just to prepare my body physically, but I also am trying to prepare myself mentally. And I think to me, that's the hardest part of the long run, especially when it's still dark out. There are some mental things you can do to kind of ease the tedium, I guess, of a long run. One thing that I know a lot of people do is to bring your BRFs along. Just go running with a friend and take some time, you know, shoot the breeze and all that stuff. It makes the miles go faster. What do you do if you run alone? Well, I personally like to find entertainment that I save just for my long runs. My Another Mother Runner podcast comes out once a week, and I usually save that for the long run. It's at least an hour, so that takes up the first chunk of my long run. It's also important to have a backup plan, a plan B, in case you can't get all of your long run done, or you can't do it the way you wanted to do it. Sometimes we're just not feeling well physically, or we run into circumstances like family emergencies, or the weather just decides to not cooperate. A few weeks ago, you guys saw that I had to bail on my outside long run, and I had to do a couple hours on the treadmill. Sometimes we have to do that. That's enough talk. I am going to set up and get myself ready to go and head out the door. Ah, yes. Here we are. Sun's gonna come up soon. if you're doing a long run for the first time. And by long, I mean something well above what you're used to. For me, it was 8 to 10 miles. And on those first 8 to 10 mile runs, I had a friend along with me who was a veteran runner. She'd been running a long time. And she really got me through those first 2 long runs, my first 8 miler and then my first 10 miler. And she taught me a lot of what to do to kind of entertain yourself on the run. And I'm going to get to that at my next walk break. But I got to get going again. Here we go. Another thing about long runs that you might want to think about too is break it up and only talk yourself into half of it. For example, this course right now for me is an out and back course. In order to get that 13 to 14 miles, you know, if I just go 6.5 miles, I can turn around and go back. So I'm really looking at it in terms of 2 6.5 to 7 mile runs. They just happen to be back to back. Whatever you can do mentally to break it up helps you endure the longness of these runs. But I am basically about ready to turn around, and you always want to find a bathroom if you can. Pa-pa-pa. Okay, so I'm taking my second significant walk break because I want to tell you guys about some strategies when you're doing these long runs and you're really not sure how you're going to gut it out, especially in the later stages of the run. When you start to feel the soreness set in and feel like, oh my gosh, I still have this long to go, instead of thinking of it that way, you start playing games with yourself. So some of the games that I play include, to the next. So just run to, that stop sign. When you get to that stop sign, you say, okay, I'm going to run to that car. When you get to that car, and so on. And it's amazing how quickly you're doing a mile without thinking about how far and how fast you're going. You're just kind of chunking it up one little bit at a time. Another game that I like to play, and this is really fun when you play with, when you have a running friend, but I do this by myself too, is the alphabet game. So when you your brain starts to get a little fuzzy, you take on a gel and then you start playing the alphabet game. So what that means is that you go through the alphabet and you pick a topic, like Disney characters. You're running along, okay, A is for Ariel. B, all right, that's Beast. C, okay, Christopher Robin. Okay, so you've got your alphabet Disney characters or movie titles or book titles, anything like that that's going to distract you from the mileage that you're doing without thinking about how much you have left to go. Because once you start getting into the later stages of a long run, gutting it out like that can be really, really challenging when you're looking at the whole picture, when you're looking at the whole run from 40,000 feet. If you're just looking at the next 100 feet, 100 meters, it breaks it down into manageable chunks for your brain. I just crossed that 10 mile mark and I am going to continue my run. I will check in with you about a mile from home. I am finishing off what is becoming a very warm day. Very warm run. It was nice and cool for probably the first half. But since I'm pretty close to home, I want to mention how we're not really done when we cross the front door. As much as I would like to, get home and just lay down on the couch and call it good for the next 5 or 6 hours, that's probably the worst thing we can do after a long run. We have to spend some time in recovery. And what that looks like for me is The first thing I do when I walk in the door is make a protein shake. Another thing I will do is foam roll. I am terrible lately when it comes to foam rolling, so I'm gonna spend probably 45 minutes to an hour really spending some time on the foam roller, because after a run like this, if I don't break up all of those muscles again, it's gonna hurt a lot tomorrow. Since it's warm, I like to do this in the summertime. Kick off my shoes, take off my socks, go in the backyard, and just run the garden hose over my feet. I absolutely love that. It's the best feeling, and believe it or not, it actually helps with recovery, because while ice baths, you know, are debatable whether or not they work, what the cold water is going to do is just immediately reduce that swelling. Successful run. Yay. So I'm sitting here, I've got some foam rolling to do, and a lot of times I like to distract myself by watching something on TV. I'll pick up a show, but I have a lot of YouTube videos to catch up on. So today, I'm watching my buddy Gerald Resnick on Res Runs. He just posted his first Dopey Challenge training video, so I'm gonna catch up on him a little bit. Now, for those of you doing the math, if you follow both me and Gerald, you just figured out when I shot this video. Foam rolling my calves, and this is lame right now. I will definitely get more into my calves here in a minute, because I can't do that and hold the camera at the same time. But that is how I execute my long runs. It got done. What do you think? What is your long run routine? Do you do anything special or unique that you keep just for your long runs? Please let me know any thoughts, questions, and comments that you have in the box below. And as always, give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Also head over to gofindyourawesome.com, where you'll see a list of all of the things that I bring on my long run. That's it for me today. Thanks for coming along on this long run weekend. Go find your awesome, and until next time, happy running.